Will be my first true love for cars. I was lucky enough to own one back in 2024, and here's how it went. Um, the car had some issues. Um, when I got it, I knew that I needed to do the clutch.
Whee! The transmission is off.
From the very first drive, I knew that it needed a clutch. What I didn't know is that the engine was knocking. D17s aren't known for reliability in the state of um, just overall longevity. The D16 on an EM1 is very much known for its reliability. I believe you can put up to 19, 20 pounds of boost on it on stock internals and it'll last forever. A D17 is a lot more tricky. A non VTEC one doesn't like boost, doesn't like going fast. It is made for the ride, it is made for the experience, and that's what I loved about that car. It handled so well. Um, just overall taking corners, stability of it, the safety of it, even. It was incredible. I love that car. Like to this day, I still wish I had that car because it was and still is an incredible car. What can I say? It was my first true love of cars. Having that 7th gen EM2 coupe Civic was a dream. It was a fever dream. I loved the bodywork. I loved how it handled. I loved everything about that car until the engine blew. It was one of the saddest moments I have experienced because I didn't know what to do. It taught me so much about mechanics, so much about the passion for a car that to this day, I still dream of that, where I'm like, I need to get another 7th gen Civic just so that I can properly love it like it needed to. When I got my 7th gen Civic, I was a broke, depressed, um, just finished mechanic student. So I didn't have a lot of experience in the domain. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And overall, just didn't know where I was going with things. So when the engine blew, I had no money to fix it. It wasn't until my grandfather showed up at my doorstep and said, "Hey, let's fix it together," that it really became special. I love my grandfather to bits. Like, he is one of the most special people in my life. Without him, I couldn't have gotten that car back on the road. He literally funded the project of getting my car back on the road, and he doesn't have much. I'm talking, the man gave me everything he had and in a hand and said, "We'll work something out later. You can pay me back later. It's fine." I did pay him back. I completely, you know, paid that bill off. Took a while, but yeah, it was a hell of a bonding process where we pulled the engine out. We pulled so so much out of that car and spent months, and I mean months fixing it. Yeah, it was a challenge, but it was so fun, and I loved every second of it, of working with my grandfather, working with my best friend on that car. And it made me appreciate the car so much more. Sadly, the car is no longer with me. Um, Sadly enough, the day that I got the exhaust welded, is the day that a driver decided to not do their stop and hit my passenger side. I did a complete 180 on the road and the car was totaled. It wasn't for the faint of heart. I remember vividly going, what is happening? Why is this happening? This car was just fixed. Like, why is it that now, out of my bad luck, the universe is taking this away from me? Because I had spent months working on it. I had spent months fixing it. And to some, the damage doesn't look that bad, but the H beam was hurt. So the driver hit directly on the H beam. The roof bent. The passenger side door wouldn't open anymore. It was a mess. Honestly, if I could go back, I would have tried and fixed that car. If I had prior knowledge on how to cut and weld, I would have cut and weld and fixed that car. I had plans for that car. Even if we put another D17 engine in it, I still wanted to lower the subframe, put an RSX subframe in there, and then put a K20 in there. I think that's everyone's dream in that car, is to put a K20 in there. And I wanted it to be reliable. That's why I wanted a K20. No matter what K20, not a Type R K20. I didn't want to make 500 horsepower with it. I wanted to make a realistic 250 to 300 horsepower with that car because I wanted to go to the track with it. And I know what you're thinking. A front wheel drive car in the track, it's doable, but why? I don't know. I just have always loved front wheel drive cars. I love manuals. I love the feeling of shifting in that clutch. But I just love front wheel drive cars for the reason is of how stable they are at times, how much, how do I put it? How much I love the feeling of like sticking on the road and having that traction where I know how that car will handle because it's front wheel drive. It's what I've been taught. So to have that taken away from me was definitely a dark time for me. I remember sitting in my room, not knowing what to do anymore, not knowing how to go about it, after having spent months fixing that car, only for it to be taken away from me was devastating. And I was lucky that the insurance that I had at the time decided to pay me more than I had paid for that car. They didn't pay me more than the amount that I had put into the car and the amount I had paid for the car. I paid, I believe, 1,800 for that car, and I got back, I want to say 2,500, but I had put in another 1,800 in that car. Well, my grandfather and I had put in another 1,800 on that car. Um, it wasn't daddy's money, it was Gramps' money. So the first thing I did was pay my grandfather off. Then I had, a couple dollars left to my name. And with that, I did nothing with it, really. That was the end of the Gen 7 Civic. Yeah, it was a really dark time in my life, but I learned a lot, and I wouldn't take any of it back. And I still love that car dearly. So that's the end of the video. But thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope I hope the video showed how much I loved that Gen 7 Civic, how much I love that EM2, and I hope it inspired you to maybe buy your own one day. But yeah, thanks.